to Jake Jackets. Gear up to fire the cannon and hit the ice with your host, Jay Ashdown and Jake Gehringer.
And that's a whole other thing, right? Yeah. Oh well. Whatever. It's one of those things. Hi everybody. It's a Saturday morning and we are punchy as hell.
Yeah, because we had to do a podcast about something we talked about on Tuesday.
I'm going to go ahead and apologize. I tweeted about it. You can still follow the Twitter, please. Because obviously we're still trying to grow the Twitter and what have you. Go follow JJ Jackets Pod. I tweet mostly from there and I give us all the updates that we can.
Yeah. A podcast wasn't released. And it wasn't my fault for once.
I know.
Not saying it was your fault, technology.
Halfway mine, but like that's the problem, right?
Yeah.
I'm just so to give you all an explainer, we recorded Tuesday night. We recorded about the normal time that we normally do, right?
It wasn't like long or anything. We've done much longer.
Yeah, we've done 2.5-hour shows.
Yeah.
The show that we recorded turned out after edit to be about an hour and 43-ish.
This one will not be that long.
And Premiere decided to crap out on me.
Yeah.
During the render process, to the point where I rendered it 3 different times. And the third playback didn't even play an hour. Like, we were in the middle of our ad read with our new friends at Raycon, which you'll hear from more from them later.
Mm-hmm.
It was the middle of the ad read with Raycon.
Yeah.
That it just crapped out on me, and I was like, okay.
Okay, we're done.
We're just gonna be a 1-episode show this week. I'm sorry.
The timing of it is good because it's not like a whole bunch of new topics came up because they're at the All-Star game, so nothing's really happened. So we could literally just do a redo.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a little late, but
just nah.
Nothing.
But I mean, it's funny too because the timing of things, right? Because right now, in the middle of at the start of February, excuse me. Are we gonna recall this episode February? Okay.
Suppose so.
Instead of wattage. Nah,
yeah,
I
people
think.
Aren't. Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out after.
But like, there's no baseball. Hockey's decided that they're gonna have an All-Star break right now.
Mm-hmm.
The Pro Bowl All-Star stuff just happened. We're like another couple of weeks from the Super Bowl.
We talk about the Donovan Mitchell fight that I saw live.
So there's like hardly anything going on.
Yeah.
But hey, you mentioned Donovan Mitchell?
Yes.
Fun guy to bet on with DraftKings Sportsbook, am I right?
Yes, he is. I had 2 different parlays on that game that I went to the other night, and unfortunately, neither of them hit. But they weren't my parlays; they were my brother-in-law's. He was like, "I had 2 free parlays on DraftKings. Fill them out for me." So I did 2 different ones. It was the over on points, over for Evan Mobley rebounds, and then Evan Mobley over on threes, which was only 0.5. He didn't hit one. And then the other one was the Cavs to win, Isaac Okoro steals, which both hit. And over 0.5 for Isaac Okoro threes. This dude needed Isaac Okoro or Evan Mobley to hit 1 3-pointer to win 1 bet. He didn't get either of them.
We're going into Kepi Keepers by DraftKings Sportsbook. And we mentioned basketball. If you're a hoops person, get the ball in your hands. You sign up, you bet $5, and you get $200 in free bets instantly right away. Plus, for a limited time, all new and existing. So if you're already with us.
Yeah, if you're a big hoops person and you want to bet on basketball, the ball is in your court.
Exactly. You get a free, no sweat, same game parlay every single day for a limited time. So go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app today, you opt in, and place the same game parlay on any NBA game. And if it doesn't hit, you get a free bet back. Did you get a free bet back on yours?
It was not on my account.
Oh, that's right. It was your cousin's.
So no, I have had some free bets that I've been taking advantage of. I'm trying to save them a little bit because I want to use all of them on the Super Bowl. Make sure that I have maximum rooting interest heading into it.
See, it's funny because at the original time that we recorded this ad, we were talking about Toronto, and we were talking about OG Anunoby and the Jazz.
Oh, God, yeah.
And Colin Sexton, because they're two young guys that are amazing and fun, and a former Cav. I know there's OG Anunoby trade rumors, so you can maybe...
OG Anunoby future Cav. I wish.
Are there any games going on right now that you might pay out decently?
For NBA, let me check.
Because like I said,
tonight's interesting. I mean, the Lakers are playing the Pelicans, and obviously that's got a lot of intrigue. You got Anthony Davis going back, Brandon Ingram matching up,
LeBron and Zion.
Yeah, so that's an interesting game right there. Wizards at Nets right now. The Nets are favored by 3.5. The Wizards aren't great, but the Nets right now are an absolute dumpster fire. You got Kyrie Irving requesting a trade,
right?
So I don't know. You might want to get the Wizards while the Nets are down right now, or who knows? Maybe the Nets will blow them out because Kevin Durant's pissed off.
Kyrie wants to up his trade value.
From nothing to a little bit of something.
From nothing to $1 in free bets. Download the app now and sign up with the code THPN. New customers can bet $5 on the NBA and get $200 in free bets instantly. Only at the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, with code THPN. That's the Hockey Podcast Network.
Yeah.
All of our minimum age stuff, the disclaimers, all of that, as always, is down below in our description.
Ooh.
So Kepi Keepers. Originally, we said Marchenko and KJ.
And KJ. I said KJ. You said Marchenko, yeah.
I still have them jotted down in the chart.
Yeah, I just remembered them because I love KJ, so I'm just...
And I love Marchie, and he's on a freaking tear. I love this kid.
We talk a lot about how they need to keep the kid line together, Sillinger with KJ and Marchenko. More importantly, they just
need to give Silly more time.
How realistic is it that they're going to keep that line together because of Cole Sillinger?
Well,
they just need to keep KJ and Marchenko together.
Not really because it's Cole Sillinger, but because it's Brad Larson.
But yeah, a little bit of both.
He's as stubborn as a mule.
After the Vancouver game, they got Lane Pederson off of waivers.
Now, okay, so I want to throw this one into the ring too, because we're recording this the day of the All-Star game. We got to give one out to Johnny All-Star.
Oh yeah, we said that we were going to do that. Each of us are giving a Kepi to Johnny for making the All-Star game. He deserves that credit.
He did fairly well, I want to say, in the pitch and puck. I didn't get a chance to read about it either.
I have not even seen a clip on Twitter. So
I didn't get a chance to read about it either, but it's Nick Suzuki won it, apparently.
The only thing I've seen in the All-Star game so far, the skills competition, is people saying that it sucks. And that it's just the players aren't really trying anymore, and it's not fun.
But it's that's the thing about All-Star stuff,
stale.
Right? Is nobody actually tries in an All-Star game except for baseball players.
Yeah, and I'm fine with players not trying in an All-Star game, but the skills competition, I want you to try in because that's the real fun, and that's where you get concerned is players not trying in the skills comp. It's oh God.
Okay.
Why do we even do this anymore?
So the quick reasoning behind KJ and Marchie, I mean, like I said, Marchie's on a tear.
KJ had a goal and 2 assists in Edmonton, right?
Yes.
He had a overtime winner.
He had a game winner, which was beautiful. He just kind of waltzed into the slot 15 feet in front of the net and just potted it home.
Yeah.
Because Edmonton doesn't have defense.
Here's the thing I'll say about KJ, because we're trying to shorten this up, okay?
Yeah.
The reason that I'm giving it to him is not just because of his 3-point game and his game winner and all that stuff.
Coming home, the Port Moody kid. Bless you.
Thank you. The reason I'm giving it to KJ is because he has played very underrated defense.
Mm-hmm.
He actually protects very well on defense.
He's turning into quite a two-way guy, isn't he? Like already,
which I didn't expect. I didn't think he was going to be like terrible defense or anything like that, but I didn't expect him to be solid.
You didn't expect him to be
average.
You didn't expect him to be emulating his Michigan captain.
Yeah, no. I just what I like about his game
Blue Jackets teammate. That's still the funniest thing to me that they came together.
Yeah,
in the weirdest package deal.
Yeah. What I like, he feels close to me. Like
already,
it feels like he's so close to just really figuring it out and just starting to pop. And I get the sense that we're seeing it more and more over these last few weeks. Like he's close. And it's really exciting.
You know what would be perfect timing? Immediately at the start of next season, he just goes off.
Yeah.
And the start is brilliant. It's like 12-6 like we did like a couple seasons ago. Hopefully it doesn't end up the way the season ended.
I'm less concerned about the results at this point as I am just about player development, because if you develop your players properly, it leads to the results.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason why I gave it to Marchenko, come on, dude.
Because he keeps fucking scoring goals.
That's all he does.
He literally can't stop.
He can't stop, won't stop. It's the best.
Yeah.
And we originally said, like, it's nice to have another pure sniper when you have a guy like Patrik Laine that's developing his playmaking.
Yeah, and he's also like one of the higher players in the league in terms of shots per game. Like his shot volume is pretty high, which is what you expect from Patrik Laine. But what I love about Marchenko is I know he doesn't have any assists on the season yet, which is part of what's so funny about it.
Yeah,
but it's not like he's just spamming shots.
The efficiency of his shots, we mentioned this.
He's averaging just a little over 2 shots a game. And for a guy who's scoring at a half goal again, like he's almost shooting. He's shooting around like 25%. Like
you said, he had only 48 shots.
Yeah,
when we originally talked about this.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna keep referencing we originally talked about this because we literally did. It's just
that's 27% shooting.
It's amazing because that just shows how smart he is with his shot placement.
Yeah.
And choices.
That's just me. That means he's going to score just a little over 1 goal every 4 shots he takes.
You're a big pace guy, and he's on pace for 40 goals.
Yeah.
If he played all 82 games this year, he would have scored 40 goals.
I think this is who he is. I think he's capable of this. I think he's going to be a consistent 30, 40 goal scorer in the National Hockey League.
Let's go ahead and chirp Lindsay again, because she had that tweet about Marchie is what we thought Bemmer would be.
Yeah. I still have a lot
Sorry,
of love
Lindsay,
for Bemmer.
but like, come
I
on.
like Bemmer.
I love Bemmer too.
I understand the people's frustration with Bemmer in the past. There's a lot of talent there that felt like it wasn't getting properly utilized. It felt like he wasn't aggressive enough, but I've liked his game this year, and I stand by that. From watching him and seeing a lot of things that he's done, I think he's got it in him, and I think we're seeing it more and more. He's another guy that I think is very close to really figuring this out at the NHL level. I think a lot of people, like, if he makes a mistake, if he doesn't take a shot or whatever, they just kind of go back into previous years modes with him, where they just criticize him immediately and act like he hasn't improved, which I think is unfair. That's just where I stand on it.
That's fandom in a nutshell. When you have a guy that you can pick on.
That's the thing. Like, and I was saying this on Twitter earlier to someone I follow. Like, he is weirdly the one that Blue Jackets fans pick on.
Like
this 4th round pick who it doesn't even make $1 million.
You don't have to, as a fan, you don't have to be as analytical as we are.
No.
But you also don't have to be as, sunshine and roses as some people are. You can be critical of players,
far less criticism for Jack Roslovic this season than I've seen for Emil Bemstrom, and I think Bemstrom's been a much better player.
You can you can analyze how players are and still enjoy them.
Yeah.
The whipping boy mentality to me has always been kind of strange.
Yes. It absolutely is.
I don't get it either. Like, at all. Especially with a guy like Bemstrom, who's still young.
Got 11 points in 24 games.
He's, developing his offense as best as he can with the ice time that he gets.
Yeah. He has as many goals as Jack Roslovic this season.
It doesn't help when you play Liam Foudy 16 minutes a night.
So, yeah, he has played half as many games as Jack Roslovic and has as many goals.
Wow. It's amazing.
Same.
Okay.
We got to be consistent with our criticism of players, in my opinion. And that's the guy that doesn't get enough, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. So, yes, out of Kepi's, KJ, Marchie, honorary ones to Johnny for All-Star. Let's go Metro. This is going to go out sometime after the tournament's done.
Probably. Yeah.
But let's go Metro. Let's go Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it rolling. Quick thing about the games leading up into the All-Star game. Very weird win in Edmonton, right?
Yeah, so we talked in depth about this. We obviously won't go as in depth, but you hold Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid combined to 1 assist. You win 3-2 in overtime.
A -3.
Yeah, it's one of the weirder wins that this team has had because, comparative, to Seattle and Vancouver, Seattle, this is what's strange about this trip. Let's look at all 3 games at once, okay? And let me explain why this is strange. Edmonton, who's an offensive powerhouse,
yes,
is much better than you. You win that game. You hold their stars to combined 1 point. They're -3. Okay.
Yeah.
You lose to Seattle. Okay, that's not strange, but you lose 3-1. They're an offensive juggernaut this season. They have been.
We said that the goalies were going to have a weird game because they're.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The goaltending is bad.
The goalies are bad, and yet they still had.
They started the worst goalies for all of it. You look at the stats. Grubauer and Merzlikins are the 2 worst goalies combined between the 2 teams. Those were 2 ones who started 3-1,
and yet they both had fairly decent to awesome.
Grubauer
games.
was awesome. Merzlikins was fine, and then Vancouver fires their coach. They're an absolute dumpster fire.
We've talked about
that's the game that you get blown out in.
Marchenko scoring the only 2 goals.
Yeah, that was nice. A nice little, I guess, consolation prize if you watch that game. Seeing him do something, but the whole team was bad.
You know what's a nice consolation prize for Kirill Marchenko?
Connor Bedard.
He finally has a picture on the NHL app.
Oh. Nice.
It took him
Good
long
for
enough.
him. He's moving up in the world.
It took him long enough. Damn. So he's a handsome kid too.
Yeah,
good looking kid.
So they went 3-2-1. They scored 3 goals in Edmonton, 2 goals in Vancouver, 1 goal in Seattle. They go.
The offensive woes are this strange thing.
Because it was the thing that they were supposed to actually be good at this season, and they're not. Outside of a few guys.
Outside of the quietly amazing seasons from Johnny and Patty.
Johnny and Patty are fantastic. Kirill Marchenko's great. Kent Johnson's close to figuring it out. That's all nice. But really, they suck on offense.
It's just strange because you thought that would be your strength. And then with all the injuries that they have. they can't build anything. Excuse me.
Yeah, that's the thing, though, and we talk about this with the injuries. They're by far and away, they've had by far the most injuries of any team in the National Hockey League. It's not even close.
They're at 319 man games lost.
No other team is over 200.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. We've seen this before with this team. They just had a comical amount of injuries, but they weren't good before that. They weren't great defensively before that. They weren't great offensively before that.
One big acquisition in Johnny isn't going to change you overnight.
No, and we knew that. And it's just that we didn't expect the season to suck as much as it has. It's
nice that Corpy's finally having a little bit of a resurgence.
Yeah, and that's a positive. Nick Blankenberg is a positive.
Big steady positive that I
Marchenko is a positive.
Yeah.
KJ, Johnny, Patrick. Like there's positives to this, but there's a lot of negatives.
Well, that's the thing is we can't just stay negative.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not? I don't think if you want to play good cop, bad cop, that's fine by me. Like
if we're gonna listen, it's a sport. We gotta enjoy it somehow.
But part of the enjoyment is suffering, because that makes the success more enjoyable,
more palatable. Yes. And then to cap off recaps, we lost to the Capitals in overtime. It's whatever. We tied them in shots. Garnett Hathaway starting the goal scoring was strange.
Yeah, I forgot about that game.
Of all guys, happened. Of all guys, and then TVR scores twice.
Well, hey man, that's offensive dynamo.
Trevor Van Riemsdyk. He got
a little bit of tips from his brother, except he didn't score those goals right in front of the net. So
we get goals from Andrew Peak, assisted by Patrick Laine.
I don't know what's funnier, the first two goals being from Peaker and Robinson, or the fact that Peaker has more goals than Robinson.
Robinson scored his fourth and assisted by Olivier's fifth.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show you the change in the fourth/second line philosophy, really.
Mm-hmm.
It's about time he actually started playing him as a fourth line, but still.
So, okay, like the whole, like the three goals are hilarious.
And then
from Laine,
yeah,
Robinson from Olivier, Johnny from
Gavin
Bayreuther.
Excuse me? Yeah, exactly, right? Oh boy. It's funny. It's fun.
Evgeny Kuznetsov very quickly into overtime wins me my money.
Sure. And then coming out of the All-Star break, we're going to have a back-to-back home and home with the Leafs.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny.
Yeah, but we got a little bit of a break until then too.
Yeah, we do.
Because it comes back. So come back on Monday, February 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Canucks play the Devils that night. We get the Hughes Bowl.
Fun.
And then we don't play until Friday the 10th.
Okay.
So we got the home and home against the Leafs, and then on Tuesday, Valentine's Day, your boy will be there, against the Devils.
Oh, of course.
How perfect did that work out for me?
Of course, it's against the Devils.
Yeah. I literally saw that and I was like, oh, like I wonder if the Blue Jackets play on Valentine's Day. Maybe we can go to a game. And I'm like, oh my God, it's against your team.
That's cute. Yeah. That's very cute, actually. Yeah. So moving along, the Lane Pederson claim is hilarious because you claim Lane Pederson off waivers from Vancouver
after you lose to Vancouver,
and he played against you.
Yeah.
It's just so funny to me. He plays against you, and now he's on your team.
He plays against you, and then, like, I love the idea of him being in the lineup against the Blue Jackets. You lose that game, and then shortly after, he's put on waivers, and it's just the idea of that conversation of Brad and Yarmo being in a room, being like, "That guy, we need him."
That's the guy we need. That's the good guy right there.
In all seriousness, it's not going to really amount to much of anything. Lane Pederson's not a long-term player for the Blue Jackets, but he'll get some service time. It gives them potentially an option with Cole Sillinger if they want to send him to the minors for a bit, which I don't think is the worst idea.
That's been floated out there, right?
What we said the first time we recorded this, and I'll reiterate this, is simple. If you're not going to play Cole Sillinger in the top 6, pretty much on that second line, really. If you're not going to play him on the second line at center, then send him to the minors.
So
because you're not doing him any favors if you're playing him on the third or fourth line. If you're not going to give him over 12 minutes a game, it's just not worth it keeping him up. You need to develop this player properly, and that is the way to do it, in my opinion.
That's the thing is we've rehashed. Is he going to be your 2C or what?
Yeah. In long term, it looks like he's going to be your 2C, but if you're not going to put him in that position now, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah. So a little bit on Lane from his elite prospects page. He's my age. Right now he's been a career AHLer.
He's had some stints in the NHL. I don't know if we need to go season by season again, but give his career stats.
6 foot, depth center, buck 92 pounds, big guy, decent guy, at least for depth. His career, his projected NHL career. This is the funny thing. This is just his projected, big league stats, right? 42 games, 4 goals, 8 assists, 12 points. That's all he's projected.
That is as depth can get.
Mostly played with the Tucson Roadrunners. He's put up decent points with Tucson.
Yeah, he's had decent numbers in the minors. But they didn't make this claim to get this guy to play for Cleveland.
They made this basically his injury insurance.
Yes.
Right?
Because there have been a lot of injuries.
And I mean, that's fine. I just think the whole circumstances are hilarious.
Yeah.
The timing of everything was really, really funny to us. Oh, okay. Moving on. Fuck. I originally said I want to welcome Bo Horvat to the Metro.
Yes.
I originally had that, and then I had something else clever and stupid that I wanted to say, but because we're reshooting this, I don't even have anything clever anymore. Though I will say his reasoning for choosing 14 with the Islanders is really funny.
Yeah, why did he choose it again?
Because I think he said because 4 minus 3 is 1 and 4 plus 1 is 5. So some stupid nerdy math thing that equated to 53.
I'm not even gonna think about that.
I know, the quote is nebulous to me, right now because I'm still loopy, but it was I thought it was funny.
He is a New York Islander. They gave up Atu Ratu, first round pick in this year's draft, which is top 12 protected,
and Anthony Beauvillier
to get this player who does not have a contract beyond this season.
27 years old. He's put up 31 goals. He's having a tear of a career year.
He's having a Chris Kreider kind of career year right now, where you kind of know what the player is. Thankfully for the Rangers, Chris Kreider had his career year after he had already signed long term, so it wasn't going to affect his long term deal. This is going to affect Bo Horvat's long term deal. Elliot Friedman reported that he was looking for an extension from Vancouver around 8 years at $7.5 million average annual value. But now that he's in New York, he's probably going to ask for more. He was willing to take a little bit of a discount to stay with the Canucks, which let's just get that out of the way real quick. Willing to take a discount for the Canucks?
I mean, if you're Bo Horvat,
I know he was their captain, and I'm sure he loved it there. But man, Vancouver, I'm not giving you a.
I know it's such a
discount at
tire
Bo.
fire over there
Dumb.
right now, but like if you're
No
Bo,
chance.
that's
No
the
chance. Give me my money.
that's the funny thing now too is first of all when you texted me this you were like, oh my god, Lou, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, because their playoff odds right now are 13%, and you're giving up a first round. I know it's top 12 protected. You were giving up a first round pick either this year.
I was gonna say explain the protection to people.
So
Yeah.
if the pick is top 12 in this year's draft for the Islanders, they will keep that pick, and the Canucks will get their 2024 first round pick, but that pick will be unprotected.
Yes.
So if they suck next year, the Canucks could get a really good pick.
Yeah, and
Or
who
if
knows?
the Islanders miss the playoffs this year and it's, in that 13 to 16 range, well, the Canucks get that pick.
Who knows with the 2024 class? Because we know that this class is supposed to be really, really stacked.
There's Michael Misa for next year's draft. He's supposed to be really good.
But I mean, the 2023 draft, like we mention all the time, Bedard, Fantilli, Carlson.
Oh, yeah. 2023 is going to be an unbelievable draft.
But there's Michkov and there's Braden Yeager, and there's so many amazing prospects.
There's a lot of really, really intriguing prospects.
This is probably the most solid draft since Connor McDavid's, since the McEichel draft, probably since 2003 is what people are saying.
Yeah, I would say so.
Because people always compare 2015 and 2003 because of just the sheer amount of elite talent that came out of those drafts. Right?
Yeah, I mean, that draft is one of the most ridiculous drafts of all time.
15 or 3?
Yeah.
Because, yes.
2003.
2003 is so crazy because you had Marc-Andre and you had Patrice Bergeron and you had just like, again, I was 6. So
this doesn't really matter, but I'm going to say it anyway. So I got it wrong. Michael Meese is 2 years from now, but they got Cole Iserman next year.
Okay.
And Aaron Kivi-Harju. And my favorite, projected not to be, like top 5, but maybe top 10, Adam Juracek.
Oh yeah, David's brother. And that's I saw a tweet from, I want to say it was Alan Walsh. Maybe it was somebody else, but they said that Adam's supposedly better than David.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
Like,
I don't know. I mean, I'm on. Hey, if we can get another Juracek, I'm down for it.
Okay, so Bo, like I said, he's had 31 goals so far this year. He's playing for the Pacific Division in the All-Star game still.
Yes.
Because he was named a Pacific All-Star, which, I mean, that makes sense.
That's the solution. I mean, like, I didn't understand why people were making a big deal of it. That was always what was going to happen.
It's funny though, because did you see his podium with the New York Islanders thing on it? And it's just like
no.
His
the
podium
only photos I've seen so far have been from my friend Kaylee down there. Did you see that they're going to be doing Kevin Weeks is doing like an hour-long interview with Alexander Ovechkin?
Oh God,
I am quite excited for that. That's really about all I've seen. I haven't seen a ton for All-Star games, but to get to the trade real quick.
Yes.
Just to reiterate what I said on the last podcast that obviously did not get released.
Yeah. Sorry again.
No, don't worry about it. I hate this trade for the Islanders. They have one of the worst prospect pools in the entire National Hockey League. They got rid of their top prospect in that pool. They got rid of another first-round pick that they could use to add a prospect to that pool.
And a really, really good young roster player.
A guy who, when he's finishing, when he's on his game, is a 15-goal guy who can give you 35 points in the middle 6.
Bavillier, okay. So getting to the individual pieces, we already mentioned Bo, Horvat, Anthony Bo Villiers, excuse me, because you gotta be a little specific with that, right? Uh, Anthony Beauvillier, 25 years old, 5'11", buck 80 left winger. Besties with Matt Barzal. That's the heartbreaking
that was
part.
the tough part. We talked about the business aspect of it and how that sucked, but
so far this year, he's played in 49 games. He's got 9 goals, 11 assists for 20 points.
yeah, the
In
production's not fantastic.
In his career, he's gotten 457 games played, 102 goals, 107 assists for 209 points.
Yeah. And we talked about this the last part. I had no idea he has already played that many games.
Yeah.
Which is like one of the crazy things about it. Because he came in at a young age and kind of just played immediately, it felt like. But I like this move a lot for the Canucks. You're getting a roster player who, if you can experience any sort of reclamation in this project, can be an asset for you moving forward, or could be a trade chip next year when his contract's expiring.
I feel like Anthony Beauvillier could work fairly well with JT Miller.
Why?
Maybe
in the sense that they don't play defense.
In the sense that, like, I don't know, like, just I want to see Beauvillier succeed.
Still. I do too.
I want to see JT Miller get his shit together.
Yeah.
Just in the room. Right.
The interesting thing for the Canucks moving forward,
I wonder
because they're going to hold on to Beauvillier for a little bit here. What now? Like, they like Ratu, but he's not going to be up immediately. They obviously love getting a first round pick, but what now happens with Brock Besser?
Yeah, what happens with Brock and what happens with Petey? I want to say this. So, a quick rundown. We mentioned the first go around with this, the Ratu falling as far as he did, being a big steal because he was projected to be like top 3, almost consensus number 1 at the time.
He was supposed to be the number 1 pick, and his production was so poor overseas that he fell to 52nd,
something like that. He fell into the 50s.
Yeah, in the early 50s, he was selected by the Islanders, and at the time, a lot of people were like, "Hey, like, this is a decent pick because there's still upside with this guy. So if you experience it, this could be a steal." And he got his production back on track and made himself into a valuable prospect.
This past in 21-22, because a lot of these numbers that I'm looking at on elite prospects, it's like single digit points.
Yeah.
It's single digits or very, very low double digits, like 10, 11, something.
Yeah. Yes.
It's really, that's why
22,
he fell.
Yeah. He started to perform to what was expected.
On loan with Ukarit, he puts up 40 points, 13 goals in 41 games. That's what you want.
That's what teams were looking for. And he's put up decent numbers in the minors. He came up, he scored a goal in his first NHL game. He's appeared, I think, in 12 games so far in the NHL.
12 games starting this year with Big Islanders. Little Tom DeLong there. He puts up 2 goals in those 12 games. He gets sent to Bridgeport, plays 27 games, puts up 7 goals, 8 assists for 15 points. Then the trade happens, and he's played 1 game in Abbotsford so far with nothing.
Right.
So Ratu, he's only 20.
Yeah, he's only 20 years old. Be patient with him. I think he could be a decent middle six kind of player for the Canucks. I don't think he's ever going to truly turn out to be the elite forward that people once thought he could be a few years back before he was ever drafted, before he fell in the draft. But still a good prospect, still a good piece for the Canucks to have. It's good that they got a first round pick. I'm wishing Bo Horvat the best of luck in terms of getting as much money as possible from the New York Islanders. For 2 reasons. 1, because I like to see guys get their money, and 2, because it would be quite funny for them to pay a lot of money for him. That's why I don't like this.
80-year-old general manager making, and the salary cap is a big part of this because we mentioned how many guys are underpaid even though they make so much money.
The thing is like for Bo Horvat though, I know like he's underpaid for what he does at $5.5 million. That's what he's getting paid right now, but he's asking for 7. He was originally asking for 7.5. It's now going to be around 8.5 probably.
Yeah,
it's way overpaid. Way overpaid for what he is. He is a 55 to 60 point center who's probably not a number 1 center, but he's a really good number 2. And the Islanders are going to have 2 guys who aren't really number 1 centers that they're going to pay like number 1 centers, and it's not going to set them up well for the future.
He is automatically, after the trade happened, he is automatically the Islanders' top point scorer.
Yeah.
And he has 54 points.
Yeah. Barzal isn't even a point per game player.
That just goes to show you the kind of season that the Isles are having, really.
Yeah, it's like their best player has been Brock Nelson.
Their all-star is Brock Nelson.
Yeah.
And I like Brock Nelson.
Barzal over $9 a year.
I like Brock Nelson, but like, really?
Yeah, I like Brock Nelson too. He can't be your all-star, not when you're paying Matt Barzal like that, but they shouldn't have paid Matt Barzal like that because he's not that guy.
It's very, very strange because you go from the absolute tire fire that, it's like Vancouver is the big accumulating snowball in the avalanche, right?
Yeah.
Because you start with the Rachel Dory stuff, you rehash your
they're
top guys.
$1 million coaches.
You rehash your top guys with replacing Benning and Travis with Jim Rutherford and Bruce. And the whole Bruce situation we've talked about, and that's brutal.
It's brutal.
And I hate it for Bruce. I hate it for Rachel. I hate it for Bruce, especially after what happened with Bruce and Rachel together.
It's all ownership. We know that. We've talked about it a million times with the Aquilinis.
Yeah, it's all Francesco, and it's just the worst. The Miller contract, and then putting the Kuzmenko contract before Bo's too. Like,
when Kuzmenko would have been the better player to have traded.
I just don't understand the decision making
like
to solidify Bo Horvat leaving. That just
I don't, like I said, I like this trade for the Canucks, but you could have gotten a good return for Kuzmenko because he's young.
Mm-hmm.
He's making less than $1 million. He's only making $1 million, I think.
He's just shy of Bo in terms of age by
he is
little over a year, I think.
Absolutely a player that teams could use.
Yeah.
For a playoff push. So if it's true that Bo was willing to sign an 8-year deal at 7.5 average annual value, I think I would have done that.
I think
I know that the value isn't fantastic, but frankly, you keep around your captain, you keep around a good player, and as long as it's not over $8 million, I think I would have done it.
Yeah, I mean, he's, captains, we've addressed how captains are.
Yeah.
And what they mean to a team and what they mean to fan bases.
They mean everything.
Like, they're just to make a Columbus comparison, there are rumors swirling out there that Toronto could be in on trying to get Boone.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
No.
There's no way in hell that's happening.
No. Toronto sees any player they like and suddenly they're in on them.
Yeah. But that's the thing is like Boone Jenner in Columbus, John Tavares in Toronto.
Yeah.
Sasha Barkov in Florida, Brady Tkachuk in Ottawa. Name any captain that, like, Mark Stone in Vegas. If there's literally any captain out there that personifies that team,
yeah,
Columbus and Vegas are the two biggest ones to me.
Yeah. That's the thing. You need a captain who embodies what your team is. And I think, obviously, we talk about Boone being one of those guys, but you just mentioned another guy who I think is very much in that is Brady Tkachuk.
Yeah.
Brady Tkachuk, man, that is as Senators as it gets.
The Ottawa Senators are so pesky and fun.
Patrice Bergeron.
Patrice Bergeron's the perfect captain.
Yes. I mean, he's just the perfect person.
He's the perfect Bruin. He's the perfect person.
He's just perfect.
That's
it. We don't need to add a second. He's just perfect. But
okay, very, very quick. Wishing the best of luck to Bo. Wishing the best of luck to Beauvillier and everybody and whatever. And I will say the PD, Pederson should be the next captain of the Canucks, as long as they don't screw that up.
I mean, yeah, they're gonna make Pederson captain, and it's not like we don't know why. They're gonna name him captain because they want to keep him long term, and that's like the first step of doing that.
Pay him first.
Well, when's his deal up?
I don't know, but pay him first. God damn you! Do something right for once. Pay him first.
I don't think his contract's up anytime soon, is it?
Quinn is. I think they both got theirs signed. I can't remember.
Yeah, Quinn's locked up. They don't have to worry about that.
But at the same time, it's like, come on, give him his long-term money first before you do that. If you're going to do anything right.
So he's under contract next year, and then he's RFA again.
Okay. And the heartbreak at the All-Star game too, the heartbreak during the All-Star stuff, because PD was asked about Bo and getting to play with Bo one more time.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means to him. And he said, it's the last ride, I guess. And I was just like, oh, made me want to tear up. So this time of year, January, February, we're all about resolutions, right?
Yeah.
Trying new things, trying to do big things. Everybody always wants to do big things in a new year.
Of course.
And everyone thinks that we need to, even after the holidays, go all out and spend more.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. With going to the gym and whatnot, that's like the biggest one.
Yeah. And you pay for a gym membership and it costs you an arm and a leg for 6 months, and then you don't go. And
yeah, you go for 6 days. That's it.
Most of the time, though, you don't really need to break the bank for these things.
No.
Especially for things that you use every day. Like earbuds, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Raycon's a great cheap option.
Of course.
Premium audio at the perfect price point. And Raycons, for me, personally, I work, you guys know where I work. I walk everywhere, and I work at the back of house in a restaurant. Mm-hmm. So I put on my own music, my own podcasts, and Raycons really help with that.
Yeah, we talk about sound quality for music. It's incredibly paramount for podcasts too. If you're listening to us, you want to make sure that the sound quality of us is good too.
You want to make sure our sound quality is good. If you're a big STP guy, you want to make sure you're hearing Steve's screaming or Adam and Jesse's weird hot takes.
Yeah. Hear Steve talk about getting owned by Brad Marchand on Twitter.
Oh, can we talk about that later?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. But yeah, Raycons are the perfect option because they're a lot cheaper. They're low latency. They last a lot longer than your typical earbuds.
Mm-hmm. Durability is very important for earbuds.
Durability and battery life. Battery life especially.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But yeah. Raycons also start at half the price of your normal everyday earbuds, which is great.
Yeah, that's the big sell here, right?
Yeah, that's the big thing, right? You don't want to end up spending hundreds of dollars on your earbuds.
God no.
And you don't even really have to choose with Raycons. You can get one of each or a pair and a spare. I can use a certain colored pair for going on walks downtown, and then a certain colored pair at work.
Yeah.
Kind of fun that way, right?
A little bit. I think so.
And even now, if you don't love them as much as we do, Raycon wants to make sure that you will. So, like I said, the noise isolation is one thing that's amazing.
Yes.
It's
Especially
funny
on
that
airplanes.
It's funny working in in a place where you need to communicate though, and then you put your stuff in.
And you're like, why are you communicating with me? This is the whole purpose of putting these in.
Let me wash my dishes in peace. If you need something, tap my shoulder.
Yeah.
So yes, the noise isolation is great, especially if you just need time to yourself. The custom gel tips, like I said, you can put any different colors, mix and match them, make them look nice.
Feel comfortable.
Make them look weird.
Yeah.
If you're that kind of guy. And of course, the clear, amazing sound and call quality.
Yeah, call quality too.
Yeah, because a lot of times people need them for phone calls, right?
Yeah, if you ever gone to an airport, you'll just see people just talking on their phones with their earbuds in.
If you're at an airport, if you're in your car.
Yep.
All of
Although
that.
you probably shouldn't be wearing, any kind of earphones in your car. I'm pretty sure that's illegal. Unless you're like passenger or backseat.
Bluetooth headset.
Yeah. Can't wear them while you're driving.
Fair enough. But yeah, are you ready to buy something small with a big impact? Go to raycon.com/THPN today and get 15% off your Raycon order. That's buyraycon.com/THPN to score 15% off. Buyraycon.com/THPN. But yeah, that's that. Next thing, rehashing. Bally Sports, their parent company, Sinclair, is filing for bankruptcy.
Yeah, so we're not sure exactly what this means for certain broadcasters and whatnot, but hopefully what this means is we'll find a new way that's not Bally Sports to be able to watch games because Bally Sports sucks.
Over half of the National Hockey League
Yes.
utilizes Bally Sports as the
Yeah,
regional
and we
broadcaster.
talked about this. Like, there's like a select few, and I think we're able to name them. Like, you got the Sharks, you got Chicago, you got Pittsburgh, New York,
Three. I was gonna say
New
all
Jersey,
three.
Boston, Washington. Those are like the ones primarily that come like outside of the Canadian markets that come to mind.
Seattle and Vegas.
Seattle and Vegas, yeah. But like outside of those, all the other teams in the league utilize Bally Sports to broadcast their games because Bally Sports basically like what it used to be was Fox Sports.
Disney sold it to Sinclair.
Yeah.
And now what do you do? Because this isn't just going to affect hockey. It's going to affect all the sports that these regional broadcasters work
this
with.
affects the Cavs. It affects the Guardians. It affects the Reds. It affects a lot of teams.
The Bengals, the Browns, when they're not on national TV, which is rare. Because most of the NFL is on national TV. Because they do that right.
I don't think Bally Sports does anything for NFL.
No?
No.
I mean, that's smart. That's smart on the NFL's part.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is we talk about our guys, and a lot of our guys on the broadcasting side of things.
We just hope it doesn't affect those guys.
I'm just trying to think of like our guys in Columbus in particular: Jody Shelley, Jeff Rimmer, Dave Metzold, Brian Gieseslaw, who also does stuff with the Reds, Jean-Luc Grandpierre.
Yeah.
Everybody involved there, with Columbus in particular. guys like Mickey Redmond.
Oh God,
We mention Mickey Redmond all the time. The guys in Dallas who are really fun and very neutral for a regional broadcast, which is nice. The guys in Minnesota. I wish I knew more broadcasters by name.
Yeah.
The guys in Tampa and Florida.
Yeah.
There are a lot of really,
I hope
really...
it doesn't affect too many people. I don't think it will, to be completely honest with you, because some of these guys are so damn good at their jobs that I don't see them really going anywhere. But
I would hope the new
sure to
parent
update
company,
you when we know. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't think it's going to affect them.
I would hope the new parent company keeps everybody around.
I think they will because, and the reason I think they will is because when it was sold from Disney and bought by Sinclair, it didn't affect anybody.
Right.
So I think they'll be fine.
I will say, because we mentioned this the first go around doing this, it's going to be nice to hopefully get a new score bug.
Yeah,
because we mentioned how much the Bally score bug sucks.
Like literally everything about Bally sucks.
Because like Root and AT&T, they have the nice little chyron in the corner.
And that's where the Fox Sports used to have it.
Fox Sports did that with the little thing in the corner that was like a nice little like bubble, like a rounded rectangle bubble.
Yeah, and it looked nice.
And then they just put like a flat, ugly white rectangle like split. It was like way too like corporate.
Dude, the freaking score bug in Chell is nicer.
I know.
Come on, man.
And also the score bug in Chell disappears from time to time, so you can focus on playing.
Yeah, and you can adjust like where it is in Chell, so like you can like push it all the way down, so that there's not like any like space in it. Like, yeah.
Meanwhile, Bally's just keeps it there.
Yeah.
Through the duration of the broadcast. Could you imagine podcasting a live?
All right, so what we got next?
Bobby Hall.
Oh yeah,
there's two sides of the coin with Bobby Hall.
The tale of two stories.
Bobby Hall, the hockey player, and Bobby Hall, the person.
Yeah.
So, go ahead and ramble about something while I'm pulling up his stats.
So Bobby Hall is we'll talk about the player right now. Was an outstanding hockey player. He's a Hall of Famer for a reason.
Trailblazer.
Yeah, absolute trailblazer. One of the greatest players of all time. And he, like, I say this all the time when you have the conversation about legends. Can you tell the story of your sport without this person? And you cannot tell the story of hockey, and particularly the NHL
and the WHA.
Yeah, because of the WHA, like in his involvement, you can't tell a story about the NHL and the growth of it without mentioning Bobby Hall for three reasons.
The Golden Jet.
One, because he was such a fantastic hockey player. Two, because of his involvement with the WHA, which led to the eventual expansion of the NHL. And three, because of his son Brett. Like that's another element to it, right?
Yeah, Brett was huge in the growth of the game as well. So Bobby dies, he's 84. Plays his total career 1,063 games, 610 goals, 560 assists for 1,170 points.
Had signature slap shot.
Amazing career with the Blackhawks.
Yeah.
Brilliant career with the Blackhawks. And then, like, he spends basically his entire National Hockey League career with Chicago.
Yeah.
From 1957-58 all the way through 1971-72. That's 15, 16 years in the NHL alone.
Yeah. Not to mention, he spent a good chunk of his time in the WHA too. So he had a long career.
So that's the thing, right? The NHA side of it is he says, I want more money.
He wanted more money.
Alan Eagleson said no.
Stunner, right?
Yeah, Alan Eagleson. There's a hockey guy video on Alan Eagleson you can go watch. He's like Shannon's one of our favorite guys for a reason.
Yeah. So he says, all right, screw it. I'm going to the WHA.
Yeah. So he signs with the Winnipeg Jets of the WHA.
Ever heard of them?
They're now the Arizona Coyotes. Funny how that works.
And there's also a Winnipeg.
Yeah. He signs for, what was it? It was $1 million at the time, right?
Yeah. Which is, remember, at the time, that's a lot of money.
First millionaire in hockey history.
And he put, first?
I think so.
Okay. I don't know for sure, but if he wasn't the first, he was one of the first.
And the WHA was instrumental in like giving players rights, movement rights,
giving them power, freedom, levity, all that stuff.
And the NHL was like, yeah, about that. Eventually, they ended up caving with that and merging, but like that's a story for another day.
Yeah.
So his career in the NHL, 16 years, 1,063 games, the 1,170 points. He plays the 7 years in the WHA. He plays 411 games, puts up 303 goals, 335 assists for 638 points.
Tore that league up.
I think he was the first 100-point scorer in the WHA.
Yeah. Tore it up. Unbelievable production.
And then Gordie Howe goes over there, and that's a whole crazy like can of worms there. So that's Bobby Hull, the player.
Yes.
And that just goes to show you how much of a legend to the game he is.
Yes. In terms of playing. And then there's
the person. I can pull up tweets. I can pull up everything. You had a Mark Lazarus thing.
Yeah. So, allegations of domestic abuse by two of his ex-wives.
Yes.
You have him making some really horrific comments about the growth of the black population in America, about Hitler and the Nazis. I'm not going to say exactly.
I was going to say being a Nazi sympathizer is an automatic
we're not going to repeat the things that he said. If you want to look them up, you can do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I don't want to have to say the words.
Yeah.
They're that bad.
They're that bad.
He wasn't a good person.
No.
And
that's a big reason why the Blackhawks let him go in 2021 as an ambassador.
Yeah, I talked about this I didn't know. That was what was so troubling about this, was because hockey, as we know, as a sport, does such a fantastic job of hiding a lot of things from us.
Yes.
And I think for a lot of people our age who know Bobby Hull is a legend, you know the name, a lot of us were clueless to this stuff. We didn't know this stuff. Because it's not included in his Wikipedia or anything like that. Like, you have to look up Bobby Hull Nazi to even find this stuff. That's not a word that I'm putting next to most NHL players' names to find out what their stances are on that kind of stuff, because you just don't think about it. Right?
Right.
So, it's very troubling because, here we go. Who has been a hero to a lot of people is not the person that you think that they are.
Do you want me to read the Wish tweet again?
Yes.
The Wish stuff? Okay. So Greg Wyshynski, if you choose to celebrate Bobby Hull, the player, today, without mentioning everything that led to his legacy becoming forever tarnished, you need to reprioritize. That was on the 30th of January.
Yes. So Greg Wyshynski tweeted that. Let's see what Ryan Whitney thinks about it.
Yeah, Ryan Whitney of Spit and Chicklets.
Yes.
These guys are fun.
A Barstool podcast.
Yeah, these guys are something else. Hey guys, you need to reprioritize because Greg says so.
hey, Ryan, you need to prioritize and stop being a jackass.
You need to not be a child. Doesn't it, like, the way even, like, just when you read it in your head, you read it the way I read it, and it's so childish.
Condescending to say that to someone who is informing people about Brett Hall and the things that he has done. Like, imagine seeing the things that Brett Hall has said and reading about some of the things that he has done and being like, man, Greg Wyshynski's the asshole here.
You know, it's bad when he makes a comment about Nazis and his family goes, yeah, that's on brand. That's from a buddy on Discord.
Yeah.
And okay, so his daughter Michelle told viewers, this is Samantha CP on Twitter. Yeah, people on the internet, think of Bobby's family, his daughter. This is from his daughter. She tells viewers, a lot of bad memories stem from how my dad acted when he was drinking. When he had been drinking, you just know that you didn't want to be around here. Michelle became a lawyer defending victims of domestic abuse like her mother.
Yeah.
So he's an abuser. He's a Nazi sympathizer. He's a bad man.
The thing, like, that also bothered me about this was people talking about the timing of it. Oh, someone just died, and we're now talking bad about that person. Well, yeah. Like, this is the thing that drives me nuts about this. Oh, like why are we doing this now? It's such bad time. No, there's no right timing for a conversation like this. There's just not. We're gonna have this conversation a week down the line. We're gonna have it a month down the line. Do we have to wait a specific amount of time? Like, I know one of the family members got mad. They're like, wow, you're saying all these things less than 12 hours from a habit. Like, yeah, yes, absolutely, yes. Why wouldn't we?
If you know, right? It's like, yeah.
Like, we're not going to sit around on this information for X amount of hours or X amount of days until it's
or weeks
appropriate.
Or
There's
months.
No appropriate time.
It's just when bad people pass, you can acknowledge that they were still a bad person.
You should.
Like, even if
you should inform people who are grieving over someone that they're not who they thought they were, because there were several people like that. I didn't know. I had friends who didn't know that I learned about it, and then I was like, hey, check this out, when they were like, damn, this sucks, and then they were like, oh, never mind. Like,
yeah,
people have a right to know.
And you can live, like, if you're a fan of this sport, you can live on both sides of this coin.
It is possible to do that.
You can live your life and say, I loved Bobby Hull as a player. He was tremendous and amazing on the ice.
Yes.
And then you can turn around and say, off the ice, he was awful.
Yeah.
You can do that.
So this is a tweet that I responded to.
And that's a big thing about celebrity athlete worship that is its own thing, right?
So I don't know who this person is, but I quote tweeted them because they said, please respect that someone's hero has passed away, someone's son and father. Literally not the time for you to point out all the wrong things about a person. Humans are complicated. Just save your rude thoughts, because, like, why? Just have a little decency and respect. And I said, he lacked decency and respect for a lot of people. While humans may be complicated, it's not like it's really an excuse for any of the things that he has said or done. He didn't avoid paying his taxes or get in trouble for graffiti. He was a pretty horrific person, and people have a right to know this.
Yeah. So anyway, rest in hell to Bobby Hull, I guess. Terrific hockey career. Legendary hockey career. And that part can and should be celebrated. Sure.
Yeah.
Right?
It can. Yeah.
Can, will, is, should be.
No.
Him as a person, no way. God no. Okay, so we're going to end this very quickly on a thing that a little while back I was having a Discord conversation, and this is fun. This is just a fun thing to wrap things up on, right?
Yeah, NFL players in the NHL. And I remember my answers. Okay.
I will say that during this time, we also had some small things that we could go in depth on later, like Andrew Burnett's DUI.
That was hilarious.
That was wild.
It was hilarious. Like, I remember, like, so my girlfriend's obviously a Devils fan, and I have a bunch of Devils friends. And they're all like freaking out, like, "Oh my god, like this is terrible!" And then they find out it was in the golf carts, and we all just
it was a golf cart. Oh no!
Yeah, I thought he was like seriously like hammered, and he was putting people's lives in danger, like driving. I was like, "That's shitty." And then I find out it's because of a golf cart.
Right?
Like, you come on, man.
Okay, Andrew. So, okay, I guess we didn't really need to go in depth on that because you just explained the whole thing, and it's actually it's kind of funny.
It is. It's pretty funny.
It's kind of funny. So the football players as hockey players. I was just thinking about forward lines.
Yeah, so let's just go forward lines. I'm going full Blazers, okay?
Yes, and I went full Bruisers.
Yeah. So I want speed. So I went with Justin Jefferson, Tre'Davious White, and who was the last one I went with? And the reason I did Tre'Davious White was because he did that Tre'Davious White goalie academy with Carter Hutton a few years back.
Right. Was it Justin Fields?
He's been on the ice to an extent.
Was your other one Justin Fields? Or was it Jamar?
Yeah, it might have been. It might have been Justin Fields.
It was Justin or Jamar. It was one of those two.
Oh, I think it may have been Jamar. Well, because I did defenseman too, so like it's possible. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
whatever.
I think because you tried to do a whole lineup.
Yeah, I tried to do a whole lineup, but
you had Tre'Davious. You
get the gist of what I'm going for. I'm going for full burners. I want all my guys to just skate by everyone.
You had Tre'Davious in net, I think, because he was a goalie academy.
So it was Tre'Davious was in net, and then I had a couple bigger guys on defense.
Yeah. My whole thing when we were discussing this over Discord, the whole reason why I brought this up even as a topic was because of JJ Watt.
Yeah. He's retiring, but he played hockey for
he wanted to play hockey as a career until he swapped to football.
Which
that was an option for him.
Pretty good decision on his part, I would say.
Yeah. And I just imagine him as a center. Right?
My reaction to this was this dude, if you put JJ Watt on the ice, that I am parking his ass in front of the net.
Yeah. And my entire line that I came up with, excuse me. Goodness. That's a smoker's lung. It's not really. It was Rob Gronkowski on the left.
Yeah.
JJ Watt at center.
Okay.
And this is all speculative and imagine them in their primes, right?
Right.
Randy Moss on the right.
Yeah. Yeah, Randy Moss would be fun.
Gronk, Watt, Moss.
I'll say this.
That's a hell of a time.
Gronk and Watt would be fantastic just because they're so big and strong.
Yeah.
Randy Moss would be, of all the players we just mentioned, he is by far the most entertaining.
And
without a doubt.
The most terrifying, too.
Oh my God, his celebrations in the NHL.
His sallies in the NHL would be so
imagine him doing the moon after scoring a goal.
I want him to just burn Mac.
That is a disgusting act by Randy.
I want him to just burn Matt Kachuk and do that.
Yeah.
Or do it to Brad Marchand.
Yeah.
The whole chirping Steve was hilarious.
It was so funny.
So good. We're not going to talk about it because we don't have time.
Yeah.
But that was great. Brad chirping Steve. And
we need more personalities like Brad in the NHL, without a doubt. And this dude, I was listening to Kipper and Bourne the other day when they were talking about, I agree with what Bourne said 100%. Brad Marchand is going to be fantastic fantastic in media once his career is over.
Hell yeah, he is.
He is going to be like the Charles Barkley of the NHL, and he's going to be
needs to go on
phenomenal
TNT.
at it.
He needs to go on TNT if they're going to have an entertaining panel like that.
Yeah.
I will. Okay, so JJ, Gronk, Randy. We also, like we mentioned, quarterbacks that could do it. Like
Fields, because of how fast he is.
Lamar, Joey B.
Yeah, Joey B can do anything. So
Joe Burrow
also can do anything.
Patty Mahomes can do anything. I want to see Jalen try.
Yeah.
I want to see Jalen Hurts try that. I think a guy like Matt Stafford could make a good defenseman, maybe.
Yeah, I could see it.
A lot of the bigger quarterbacks would
Absolutely no. I don't disagree with that.
Or like Matt Stafford as a power forward.
Yeah.
Like a Jerome McGinley type. Tom Brady as a power forward.
Tom Brady is also another guy who would not be a great skater, but he just park him around the net and he'll do some damage.
He'll do anything.
Yeah. He'll do what it takes to win.
He'll do what it takes to win. Exactly. But that was really it.
For this part 2 episode.
For this rehash episode. I'm sorry, everybody. Premier hates me sometimes.
Okay.
Premier hates me sometimes. What else can I say?
I'm mad at you. No, this was a good rehash.
So yeah, we mentioned everything we've got.
Hopefully we get it right the third time around.
Yeah. So we got everything coming up after the All-Star break. Go Metro, go Johnny.
Go Jackets.
Go Jackets. We'll see y'all.
Jake Jackets, a podcast for fifth liners and all puckheads around. Follow the guys on Twitter at Snake Gehringer, GARRINGER, and at by J Ashdown. And subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen. March on.